I used to chase neck and shoulder pain up and down the spine, and I kept losing the trail until I realized the real suspect might be hiding under the right ribs. If that makes your stomach drop a little, good, because ignoring it is how people stay stuck for years. Here is the simple hope. In the time it takes to breathe for half a minute, a gentle press beneath the right side of the rib cage can hint whether your tight neck is actually a message from your gallbladder and your liver. I will show you exactly how to try it soon. But first, let me earn your trust. After decades at the bedside, I have watched stubborn tightness melt when we stopped treating the surface and started listening to that quiet organ that concentrates bile so your body can handle fats. Doctors have a name for pain that shows up far from its source. They call it referred pain. The nerves that help your breathing also report trouble from tissues that sit just beneath them. And when bile becomes thick or flow slows, nearby structures can get irritated and send signals that your brain interprets as a clamp on the right side of your neck or a hot ache behind the shoulder blade. This does not mean every sore neck is a gallbladder story. It means we should not overlook the signal. Here is your early guardrail. If your pain is sudden and severe, or you have fever or yellowing of the skin or persistent nausea, you need an in-person evaluation. For the rest of us, with nagging tightness that has outlived massage and stretches, there is a smarter way forward. We calm the alarm. We support bile flow with food choices that are kinder to the liver, and we use a careful self-test that can tell us in about half a minute whether we are looking in the right place. Stay with me, because a small shift in where you press and what you notice may be the moment your neck finally lets go. Most people squeeze and stretch their necks when the real pinch may be coming from deep inside the abdomen, and that twist surprises nearly everyone I meet. I learned the hard way that bile, the simple fluid made by the liver and stored in the gallbladder, behaves like the water in a creek. When it flows freely, everything downstream runs clear. But when it thickens into sludge, pressure builds, nerves get squeezed, and pain can echo far away from the real problem. Doctors call this referred pain, and Mayo Clinic has long described how irritation of the phrenic nerve, the nerve that helps the diaphragm move with each breath, can trick the brain into feeling a clamp at the right side of the neck or a knife-like ache between the shoulder blades. It is a strange illusion, but one that explains why countless people keep treating the surface while the root sits hidden below the ribs. The danger is that by missing the connection, we keep piling on therapies that cannot work. The hope is that by understanding it, we can choose gentler steps that truly ease the pressure. A simple change in diet that lightens the load on the liver can be enough to thin bile, and sometimes that alone lets the nerves rest. I will soon walk you through how to tell if this is your story. But for now, hold on to the idea that the ache you feel up high might be a whisper from down low, and ignoring it is what keeps you trapped. What startled me most after years in practice was that the very things people trusted to protect their health were often the ones quietly straining the liver and starving the body of bile. Birth control pills, hormone replacement, common cholesterol drugs, even certain antibiotics and antidepressants, each of them can nudge the balance until bile thickens like mud in a riverbed. Add the daily habits of sweetened foods, refined grains, or too much alcohol, and the stream that should move smooth begins to clog. Harvard Health has long warned that when bile cannot flow freely, the liver suffers and the gallbladder becomes sluggish, setting off pain that travels far from its origin. That is the dark side. But here is the brighter one. Because bile is not a static pool, it is something the body can restore. By lifting some of the pressure with simpler foods, by stepping away from the sugars and starches that make sludge, we give the liver a chance to make fresh bile again. Science has shown that taurine, a natural amino acid, helps the body form healthy bile salts. A special compound called TUDCA has been studied for its ability to thin sludge and ease the liver's load. The beauty is that for many, it does not require exotic treatments. It begins with choices at the table, a shift toward foods that are kinder to digestion and gentler on the liver. The weakness is that change does not happen overnight, and pills alone cannot undo years of pressure. But the strength lies in the body's resilience, and time after time I have seen patients feel relief once they stop pouring sand into the river and let it run clean. That is why the solution is both simple and profound. The same fork that fuels the problem can become the tool that clears the way. I will never forget the first time I showed a patient how to press gently beneath the right side of the rib cage, and within seconds the vice-like grip in her neck began to ease. She looked at me with tears because years of stretching and therapy had never touched that pain, yet one simple touch in the right place unlocked it. That is the strange beauty of this test. In about half a minute, you can discover whether the knot in your shoulder is not a muscle at all, but a signal from your gallbladder and liver. You do it by slipping your hand under the rib edge and holding steady pressure where the tissue feels tight. If the pain up high melts even a little, you have just learned that your story may not be about bones or joints, but about the quiet organs that handle bile. Remember the guardrail, though. If your pain is sharp, if you run a fever, or notice your skin turning yellow, that is not the time for a home test. That is the time to seek urgent care. For the rest, this small window can be a turning point. Medical texts on bile salts in health and disease have long shown that when bile flows smoothly, the body thrives, and when it stagnates, irritation spreads. Ancient physicians sensed this truth centuries ago, even if they lacked the words we now use. Today, we know enough to act. Supporting bile flow with kinder food choices, easing pressure with nutrients like taurine, and respecting the signals of the body can set you on a new path. The weakness is that no single step is magic, and patience is required. The strength is that change is in your hands. I have watched countless men and women reclaim ease in their necks and shoulders once they understood this connection. So try the gentle press, listen to what your body tells you, and remember that small actions can unlock big relief. Share with me what you discover, because your story may be the encouragement someone else needs to finally believe that their pain has an answer.